Hi there, welcome to another super quick lesson on wealth management bite size. My name is Sunana Bisht and I'm a financial advisor with a leading financial institution of the country. And today we're talking about investments, or more precisely, how should I invest? Now, yes, we have some money in our hand and we want to know how should we go ahead and invest. We previously spoke about things like why we should start investing and where we should be investing. Now, we want to talk a little bit more about how should I invest. It's very important for us to understand what our daily expenses are or what our income is, to understand in detail the financial situation or your life or your family, the type of incomes that you have. Is it a single source income, double source income, any other income that's coming into the family which might not be continuous would be there, say, in some bits and pieces that comes in between. Say, for example, the Diwali bonus you might be getting from your offices, or maybe some other amount that comes into your life. Also, it is important for us to know which are the expenses. Now, expenses can obviously be different type. It could be your daily expense, monthly expense, which you have a very wide view of, and you can actually list it down very clearly. But besides that, you could have emergency expenses of things which were unexpected. Say, for example, you have an accident, and then there will be expenses of all the treatment that gets done, all the doctor visits that happen. Or say, for example, there's a dental emergency, and that's not an investment, rather expense that you had catered for. So it's very important to figure out what would be your expenses on a regular basis and what could be the emergency expense that you can kind of foresee in the future. Look at liabilities. Where do you need to make sure you putting your money every single month? All your credit dues, all your bill dues, those are expenses that are there in our life which come in the form of liabilities that needs to be paid out on a very regular manner. Those things need to be listed down as well. And finally, the saving. What at the end of each month would be your saving that you put in your bank account, or would be your basis launch point from which you can start investing. Now, when we look at our expense, can we see places where we can cut down on our expense? If you're regular person who eats out on a regular basis, can we reduce that from 3 times a week to say maybe 1 time a week? If we go out for movies, is it possible to maybe not splurge money on those overpriced popcorns and coke and maybe just enjoy the movie? Can we reduce our expense on gym membership that we don't really take advantage of? Can we instead start working out at home, or go out for jogs and have that as our main health benefit, right? So those are the things that you need to look at when it comes to expenses. For each person, it will be a little different. For each person, they will have to prioritize what is an essential mandatory expense for them and what is something that can be cut down. For example, your mobile plan, we look at it every single month and it comes to about 1500 rupees or 1000 rupees, and it doesn't really sound that much because 1000 rupees might not be that big an amount for you. But if you look at it over a year, it is actually 12,000 rupees that you're paying for your mobile phone. Is there a possibility that there is a better plan in the market? Of course, there could be. Unless and until you do that research, you might not know. And that 1000 rupees could be reduced to 500 rupees a month, and you are saving instantly 6000 rupees. The best way of increasing your wealth would be by making sure you're cutting down on unnecessary expense, and that's what we want to look at here. Also, examine the liabilities to see where your cost is involved. So, your credit card, right? What kind of interest rate are they providing you? If you do pay your bills on a very regular basis, is there a lesser rate of return that they can give you? Or if you pay all your credit card at the same point of time, then there is no interest rate that needs to be charged to you. Those are other things you can look at in order to reduce your overall expense or liabilities. Whatever you're saving from your income is coming into your pocket that can be invested somewhere else to increase the overall wealth in your family. Now, we've done that, right? We've already looked at our expenses. Now, next thing we need to make sure is we understand that investment is a long-term game plan. It is not to be done for a year, 2 year, 5 year. It should have a long-term limit or a long-term plan for it. That's the only way you will be assured of a good return from the market. Now, if we want to do that and we don't have a lump sum money that we can invest right now, we need to make sure that we don't put a break in our investment. That's mean that there should be no situation coming in your life that can derail you from investing on a regular basis. So how do you do that? You create safeguards for yourself and your family. Buy a good health cover. I'm sorry, it says cove there, but buy a good health cover for yourself and for your family. It's very important to go ahead and secure the future of the family. That obviously comes before the investment bit of it. We have videos which talks about how to make sure that you're getting a good health cover or a good health insurance in the market and what are the concepts that you should be clear in your mind. Please go ahead and take a look at that. Buy a term cover, secure your family financially. You've started investing and something happens to you, your family should not be left in rut. Your family should have enough coverage to make sure that they do not depend on anyone else just in case you are there. So buy a term cover which covers the financial goal you otherwise also had in your mind. Also, create an emergency fund for a minimum of 6 months. If you're changing jobs or if there is a position where the income stops coming for whatever reason, you should have an emergency fund which is at least for 6 months, which can take care of your expenses for at least a period of 6 months. At any point of time, if you are touching this emergency fund, once that emergency is over, your first priority should be to rebuild this emergency fund. It should not be just left like that. Make sure your emergency funds always there as a backup for you. Now, that's done on our personal side. Now, what is it that we need to look at when we start investing? Determine what your financial goal is. How much is it that you're actually looking for creating a wealth? I know all of us would say more the better, but we still need to have a figure. What are we comfortable with? What is it that we want to have when we retire? What is it we want to have when our children grow up and are going for an education? What is it that we need to have when we want to get our daughters married? Those are the kind of questions you should have in mind and determine your financial goal with. Also, look at the investment timeline for your child to grow up and go into college when you will be utilizing that money. How many years are left? Is it 10 years, 5 years, 18 years? Those are the things. When your daughter is getting married, is it still 20 years away? Is it 5 years away? Determine those timelines. Now, when you have your timeline and you have your financial goal in your mind, it becomes very easy to understand which kind of instrument in the market you should use for investing, which kind of mutual fund you should go ahead and invest in. Should it be a debt mutual fund, an equity mutual fund, a hybrid mutual fund? Those are very easy to determine once you have your goals and once you have your timelines in place. Also, how much you can invest. That will come from the amount of savings that you have now created, money that you now know can be very easily utilized for investing, and it will not have any kind of an effect or hamper your family in any manner whatsoever. So those are the 4 things that you need to be careful about once you have created safeguards for your family. Thank you so much for your time today and listening to me. We post videos on mutual funds, insurance, income tax, and other wealth related issues. Be sure to subscribe to us and share the videos with those you care for. Also, see our other videos on why you should invest, where you should invest, and when is the best time to invest. We have videos further which talks about market and what you should be buying as your first mutual funds, the qualities that you need to look at. Thank you again. Hope to see you soon.